Roughly 5 weeks ago, I told you about the incredibly slow process of putting in a homeless RV parking site behind the publicly owned Expo Center in North Portland. It's slow despite a poll by the group People for Portland, which shows 63% support for the idea from the public. Tonight, an update. Not much has changed. But in the meantime, Metro, the regional government, which owns but does not control the Expo Center, is now asking developers for ideas on what to do next with the entire place. The Portland Expo Center is 100 years old. It sits on 53 acres and has hosted everything from swap meets to gun shows and food shows and more. It's a public space, technically owned by the public. The regional government Metro is in charge of the place and this week is putting out requests for proposals from developers. The government wants to know how the land could be put to a better use in the future. Would that include tearing the buildings down? Well, that's unclear. Also unclear why it's taking so long for Metro and a volunteer board that controls the uses of the Expo Center called MERC to make a decision on an RV parking site for people who do not have homes.
The Expo Center has a lot of potential.
That was Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler back in early April. The city of Portland has proposed using one or more of these back parking lots behind the Expo Center. The idea would be to get RVs off the streets and out of neighborhoods and give the people living in them a safe place that's monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's something this man, Michael, would appreciate. What do you think of the idea of maybe having a safe RV parking spot behind the Expo Center?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I met him on a side road about a mile from the Expo Center where 2 RVs are parked and people are living. Michael told me he was staying in a friend's small trailer, but it recently burned. It is now part of the debris there on the side of the road.
I went to bottle drop and came back and it was on fire.
Jasmine Hammond lives here too. She thinks an RV camping place would work. She's not interested in a shelter.
I don't want to be shelter away from my friends, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of like out here.
Both wonder what sort of rules the place would have.
If it's rules, like, you can't just, it's not just free RV parking, you can do what you want. It's probably like, a curfew or some kind of like noise thing.
When I reported on the idea 5 weeks ago, I got many emails, some in support and some against the idea. One from Kathy Kaufman against caught my eye. She wrote, "I beg to differ with you about the comment that the Expo spot is not in a neighborhood. For those of us living within easy walking distance of the Expo Center as well as Delta Park, we have been dealing with the homeless issue firsthand." Fair enough. I decided to talk with Kathy in person and hear her complaints.
My first reaction was, oh no, another place with more houseless people.
Kathy lives along the Columbia River, about a mile from the Expo Center. She's lived here for 20 years, and she has seen a change.
We've had a real problem with the Delta Park area for over 2 years, and we've had a lot of crime here in this neighborhood. And so my first reaction was, please don't do this.
Kathy's like many homeowners and renters I've talked with about the homeless, compassionate, and also frustrated. And over time, she's now changed her mind. Instead of fighting the idea, she just wants to make sure someone would be at the Expo Center to watch over the people living in their RVs if the site is really developed.
My sense is that in this city, we have to figure out an answer to this really bad problem. And we all have to be more open. So I'm not afraid of the people that are going to be moving in there. I just want them to be in a safe place and for us to be safe with them there.
I wanted to talk with both Metro and the city about where things stand today and asked for interviews last week, but neither would talk on camera. When the city last talked to the MERC Commission, MERC had questions for the city, and the city has apparently sent over written answers to those. MERC also wanted to see a good neighbor agreement that would cover security and rules for the site, but today Metro would not even confirm if the document exists for the Expo Center. And later the city told me it does not, that those are not drawn up until the project is actually moving forward.